Thank you, Sam. Now, in number 10, Downing Street, things are really not looking very good at all for the Prime Minister, as today we learn he scored an approval rating of just 11%. Figures from YouGov out today state that 70% of the British electorate do not approve of Sir Keir Starmer as the leader of the country, or indeed approve of his government. So here is the big question. Are Sir Keir Starmer's days numbered? Is he a dead Prime Minister walking? Well, I'm joined in the studio by the Reform UK MP and the Chief Whip for Ashfield, Lee Anderson, as well as GB News' political editor Chris Hope and GB News' senior political commentator Nigel Nelson. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio. Let's start, Lee Anderson, with the poll out today, the YouGov poll. 70% of the electorate do not approve of Sir Keir Starmer's government. There have only been 3 times in recent history, I think we've got some graphics we can get on the screen, where a government has been less popular. The least popular was October 2022. Liz Truss, 77% disapproved. There's Sir Keir Starmer today on 70% disapproval rating. Liz Truss, as I said, in 2022, 77% didn't approve. And then it was Theresa May, 72%. This was the final days of the Brexit deadlock where she was forced to quit. Actually, this is when the Brexit Party booted her out of existence because of those elections in Brussels and the locals. And finally, the final days of Rishi Sunak, just 3 days before he was annihilated in the election at 72% disapproval. Lee Anderson, in that company, is there any way back for Sir Keir Starmer, or is he a dead PM walking?
I think the only thing that Keir Starmer can look forward to, really, Martin, is that look behind himself. Actually, is his own backbenchers and possibly his frontbenchers. I can't see anybody replacing him. To be honest, at one time there was muted about Angela Rayner replacing him. She's sort of gone missing. Wes Streeting is sort of slithering about in the background. He could be ready to launch the old dagger in the back. But now I'm surprised. He said he had a popularity rating of 11%. I'm surprised it's as high as that at the moment, Martin, because everywhere you go in this country, as a politician, people talk to me wherever I go, and this man is despised. I think he's the most despised Prime Minister in history. I think he's cowardly. He U-turns on everything. He bends to his backbenchers all the time just to save his own skin. He's a dead man walking. I think his time is probably up after the May elections this year, but I dread to think who's going to replace him.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 months extra for free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
But isn't the point that Nigel Farage and yourself would no doubt like Sir Keir Starmer to stick around? Because at the moment, I mean,
oh yeah,
isn't he helping?
Yeah, well, he is. He's the best campaign manager we could possibly hope for. Is Sir Keir. Look, it's awful. He's not a leader. I mean, Kemi has said it before. To be fair to her, he's not a leader. He's a lawyer, And he's going to be propped up by, we have some out-of-touch lefties knocking around the GB News studios, the corridors. We've got the coalition of the lefties in the corner. I think Nigel Nelson will probably stick up for it. I know Chopper's got to. It's part of his job. But come on, guys, seriously, this man is a joke, not just nationally, but on the international stage as well.
He's got a problem communicating. And I was with him on Monday. He's not connecting properly. He's got to find a way of connecting with people on the level. This cost of living crisis has got to ease this year. The problem, I think, is they should have been more honest about the need to biff up probably income tax by 1 or 2% because of the money spent on COVID, rather than scratch around for areas and annoy people and then you turn them on with the family farm tax or the pensioners and their winter fuel allowance. I think he's got into a mess here and he can't really cut through, and he's trying hard to. He isn't liked on social media, and I find that difficult because when you're with him, he's not a bad bloke, but he just doesn't seem to cut through.
But Chopper's not even Marmite, is he?
No.
Everybody dislikes him.
I know. Well,
everybody.
But Chopper's right about the big mistake before the election was to promise not to put up the 3 big taxes: national insurance, income tax, and VAT. And that means what's happened is that small groups get hit, and understandably, they think it's unfair on them when they see other people getting off scot-free.
Well, we've heard today, Lee Anderson, that Morgan McSweeney says that the answer is 3 E's. We can get back with 3 E's, and that is the fight of his life requires empathy, emotion and evidence. If Sir Keir Starmer can come up with those things, then all will be safe.
3 E's? I think Morgan McSweeney's been taking some E's, mate, with that sort of comment. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. Nobody believes Morgan McSweeney, and they don't believe Keir Starmer. It's absolute nonsense.
That report was denied by Number 10, Martin.
It was on the front page of today's Independent.
And it's denied by Number 10, just so we know. Some of our reporting here, they say that wasn't what was said by Morgan McSweeney, but Morgan McSweeney is this chief of staff trying to take the fight to reform UK. I mean, there are more MPs called Josh than there are in your party in the House of Commons. You're big in the polls. You're being puffed up by the hot air of politicians and by support. But will you deliver? When can you deliver? Can you cut through your thinking?
I remember you saying 18 months... No, just after the election last year, saying this was a sugar rush, a political sugar rush in British politics. There's no sugar rush there, mate. We're here to stay. And the polls are saying that. Probably 180 polls now. We've been at the top, consecutive polls. Membership, 270,000. Excellent candidate announced today for the London mayoral election, Leila Cunningham. She's going to give Mayor Khan... Well, I think she'll boot him out of London. So it's all good at the moment, but we're not complacent. We're working hard. We're getting the money in. We are campaigning. And the campaign for the local elections starts today.
I want to ask you, Lee Anderson, about this so-called coalition of the willing. Today's announcement, there's a possibility of British boots on the ground in Ukraine. I'll be joined by an SAS hero in the studio in a short while's time. Do you think it's the right thing to do to send British troops to Ukraine?
Listen, Martin, there is no such thing as a coalition of the willing. It's a coalition of the unwilling. It's 2 out-of-touch leaders, Macron and Starmer, puffing their chest out, saying they're going to defend the borders of Ukraine. They can't even defend the border of their own countries.
Are you saying you wouldn't vote for troops to go into Ukraine? You'll get a vote on this, you're an MP, would you vote against it?
I would hope it's a free vote for the whole of Parliament.
Will you vote against it?
I will vote. In the current state of the world, if it's just France... and it's just the UK going into the Ukraine, of course I would. I mean, this so-called coalition of the willing, it's not very willing. If every country in Europe were prepared to put their armed forces in, have a proper rota, a proper investment in our armed forces as well, then maybe we could look at it.
Is that reform policy then? The 5 MPs will vote against...
At the moment it is, yeah.
So does that mean that if this would end the war in Ukraine, you would vote against it?
It doesn't end the war in Ukraine.
I appreciate we're not way away. Putin's got to agree to this in the first place. Yeah. And he's already said that he won't. But anyway, in the event that we can put boots on the ground, Britain, France, other countries joining in, maintain a ceasefire, American guarantees, would you vote against
I think it's got to be, all the countries in Europe put troops in there, plus the US as well. They've got to back us up as well. Otherwise, Nigel, I can't see me voting for something that puts young British men and young British women in harm's way. And just remember, if it does kick off a little bit there, and somebody is armed, a Russian soldier killed or something like that, that could escalate. And I'm not prepared to put my name to that.
And what brings you round is more commitments on security from America and more allies in Europe fighting with UK and French troops.
Well, that could happen. That could happen. That's a possibility, Choppy. Europe, it's got to be a proper, a coalition of the women. At the moment, it's just two countries.
You could be in charge in 2029.
It's just two countries. I wouldn't vote for anything that sent just two countries into Ukraine to defend their borders against Russia. It's nonsense.
OK, gentlemen, we have to leave it there. Lee Anderson, thank you very much. Chris Hope, Nigel Elson, superb as ever.